Friends and now lawyers.
That's right.
Well, do you have a mate that will not leave you alone for even a second, and it doesn't drive you crazy?
Well,
we hit the streets of the nation's capital to find out, how do you handle a mate that's too dependent?
Sometimes I get real mad. Sometimes I just go get a popper out of the refrigerator or something.
and then leave.
Yeah.
He leaves. He'll leave me.
Turn the volume up on the TV. What else?
I go swimming, take a walk, just get away from them. I would tell them to go out with the guys. Just go away.
Plus, I need my own space. Then she'll question why I need my own space. Why doesn't that not mean that there's something wrong with our relationship? And then I just explain to her, no, it's not her, it's me, and that I just need to be alone. It's just that simple.
Is it just that
Joining
simple?
us this morning with some tips for dealing with a mate, dependent mate, is Dr. Anne-Renee Testa. Welcome, doctor.
Good morning. I'm glad they had a sense of humor at least.
That's right. But this apparently is a big issue with a lot of people, you know.
Me and my
space.
shadow.
That's right. Well, you know something, if you look at it, though, people need to understand where it comes from. It's really a fear of being isolated as a little kid, where they couldn't really connect with their parents in some way, a parent or parents. They couldn't make that love connection with them. So they transfer it to looking to a mate that they can really, literally plug their umbilical cord into that mate and become one with them.
And ironically, as we see on the tape, that can actually drive the mate further away.
Oh,
right?
you bet. Initially, it might be very attractive, but there's something called the pursuer and the distancer, and if you look at your relationship, there's a little bit of that with everyone, really. But when it gets to be overbearing, then,
Right.
you know.
It starts out as she pays so much attention to me in terms of she pays so much attention to me.
Right, that's right. You know, they say the very thing that you find attractive down the road, you just want to strangle your mate and say, why am I here, you know?
Well, what about the person you were talking about? It all starts when you were a little child. Well, they're trying to recreate that relationship again and to make it work this time? Is
Yeah,
that what's
well,
happening?
what they want to do is to make up for what they didn't have. And instead, what they really need to do is to plug the umbilical cord, if you will, into themselves. You know, you get parented, and parents don't come with an instruction book about how to bring up kids. But then you need to parent yourself and take a look at it. You know, why am I feeling uncomfortable? Why isn't he or she paying attention to me when I need to be so close to my partner? And then really, you know, the partner that doesn't want to be so close anymore and says, hey, wait a second, I love you, but you know, I don't want this anymore. I don't want you to just keep on being my shadow, as
But
you
now
said.
it would seem to me the most difficult part, if I was the other person who didn't want all of that attention, all that was trying to distance myself from that person, is identifying the times when it's critical to be with them and when it's okay not to be with them.
Yeah, well, I think it comes down to an individual thing as to, and also there's a way of being able to say it so that you're being sensitive to that person that needs to connect all the time. You know, to be able to say to your mate, you know, I really need some space. I know you want to be with me right now.
Well, is it that simple? Because that's what the guy in Washington said. He goes, I think it's just as simple as saying I need space.
Yes, but and there's a way of saying it so that you're not really coming down on that person, because that person is needy. They really need and want to connect, and because they are making up for that loss that they have.
Well, the person who wants to connect so badly, they have to realize too that they have it's not a slap in the face against them.
Yes.
Right. So they have to sort of realize that.
Yeah, and it can't. They stop it from being a slap in the face when in fact the partner says it in a sensitive way and constantly says I need some space right now. I think I'm going to take a walk, and when I come back we can talk about that thing you want to talk about, or whatever.
I'll go for a walk. I'll come on.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd like a walk too.
Stay home.
And 3 years later, Bill
but you know, it's very sad, and I think that the communication between the couple is so very important.
Right.
And the reasons that you get married aren't the reasons that you are together 10 years later.
But the thing is, if you have that underlying love and both people are secure in each other's love, that's the important thing, and that the person who wants to be together that should remember that.
Yes,
Right? right?
It's true, but it's like this mad compulsion, you know, and it's not even reality based, and they sometimes don't have any control over it. It's an obsession. It really is. So for the other part of the partnership who says, I don't want this, you know, I need my space, they need to have an agreement together where there's kind of time out, you know, where they get together, where that obsessive person says, I'm gonna, you know, I'll see you in a half an hour, or let's go out to dinner together.
Speaking
play a
of
little
time
hard
out,
to
we're out of time. But thanks for joining us so much, Dr.
Thank you
Testa.
very much,
It's
Doctor.
great to be here always.
Well, up next, our Coast to Coast correspondent